What's happening? Jermaine Andre here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I use something that I consider to be bad, even evil, to protect myself when I was placed in an evil place around bad people. Well, when I first went to jail, I was about 17 years old, and I went to jail for armed robbery, so it's a violent crime. And I was picked up in St. Louis, Missouri, and they put me in a place called the Tanks, which is somewhere in Clayton, upstairs, high upstairs in this building, and it's for the worst of the worst. I mean, I was in there with serial killers, with murderers. I mean, just all kinds of people. They put you in, you're in this cell, okay? And there was 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 bunks in there. You know, a mattress on the floor where people slept on the floor. You had a shower in there that we all were supposed to share together. And I remember going in, I first went in, and you know, I was thirsty. And I went back to the sink, and first of all, it's really dark in here. They got these real dim little lights, you know, and you're behind bars, and it's just, and they let them smoke in there. So I was a non-smoker, so this is just killing me. Everybody smokes in jail, you know, so I was the weirdo being in there. And I went to the sink to brush my teeth, and all these bugs just crawling, I'm talking like little bugs, just crawling around, started jumping all over me. So it's a disgusting place. You know, so of course, you know, I jumped on my bunk, and I still always had good sides to me. So nobody ever really started bothering me or anything while I was inside. And I paid attention to, you know, the people I was dealing with. You know, I could see that one of the guys, he was a very, very calm white guy, very, very soft talker. And I knew, you know, okay, that's probably one of the baddest dudes on the planet. Sure enough, he was some guy who was a, you know, a big time, you know, murderer, and had already been up for 5 or 10 of them, and was in prison, had done, you know, I think was on a couple of life sentences. But this is the type of people I was in jail with. So the first thing I did was I knew, you know, where I was at. And the first thing I said is I would never, ever bring this home with me. You know, I would never bring this situation. I would never bring this environment. I would never bring this idea. I would never bring these people home with me. So the first thing I did was I had to change who I was, and I didn't bring my home to jail. So this is something that you can learn from too. Because you can end up in jail. There's been a time I went to jail and it was an accident. They arrested the wrong person. It was somebody else that used my identity. And so that can happen to you. You can end up in jail, just like I did. So I'm here to teach you these lessons that I learned. So the first thing I did was I confused the jailers and even the jail themselves with my name. I used Jermaine Andre, I used Jermaine Bradley, I used Jermaine Reedus, which legally all 3 of those have been my names through step parents, my father's, the older brother's real father. So that really confused them. Because what I wanted to do is I want to make sure that these people did not know who I was. I didn't want them to know who I was because I didn't want them to be able to find me, connect me to my family, connect anything. Because who knows what could have went wrong inside there. And so I used the power of lies. And I took this power and I changed my identity. I developed a fake accent. I carried a Jamaican accent. I told everybody I was from Jamaica, and I spoke like that, man, you know, barely I got to speak a language, you know. And I played like I could barely speak English, so they didn't even really want to talk to me. They didn't want to find out much about me. You know, and I knew enough about Jamaica. Somebody asked me, where are you from in Jamaica? And I picked a place that most people in America had been to. You know, I said, the Blue Mountains, man. The Blue Mountains, from the Blue Mountains. You know what I'm saying? So I misdirected all of these people who could be bad people. And the other thing I did was I made sure to protect my family and friends outside and get P.O. boxes. I didn't write home. You know, I wrote the letters, and if I did write letters, I never set them in the cell door. I waited and held my letter until the jailer came to pick it up, and I gave it to the jailer. But we all know, even inside there, you can't even trust the jailer. So you get into it with someone, and if you win, or they really want to hurt you, they're going to extend outside of that place. So there is an appropriate time to use lies. You know, and that's a philosophy I came up with. I don't like to lie to people because lies create bullshit. If I tell you a lie, then you're going to take that lie as reality and you're going to push it out there. And the 5 people you tell, it's going to be a lie. There's no truth. There's no substance to it. So somebody's going to try and use that in a real situation. It's going to fail. Just kind of like what started happening to the martial arts. All these fake bullcrap moves, and everybody try to use it. Somebody go out there about to get killed and their life is at risk. And then they try to use this move, and it doesn't work because it was a lie from the beginning. The person who taught it did not know what he was doing. So I don't like lies. I'm totally against them. I believe in being honest, regardless of who likes it, or regardless of if you don't gain personally from it, or even if I was punished for it. I always said, I'm not going to be anybody's bitch. I'm not going to lie out of fear for you. So this was a new tactic. It was a strategy. I think that, you know, there was definitely some spiritual divine intervention that came into my higher intelligence and and taught me how to do this and helped me to push my ego aside. And I mean, I changed, I changed my name. Didn't write home. I lied about who my parents were. I lied about my girlfriend. I did anything I could to get these guys all on different paths. And I would even lie to different types of people, different groups of people in the jail. Now, of course, when I landed in prison, where prison actually became my home, when you do a lot of time, which was, I was doing 5 to 7 years. I was a long time, I was in the middle. And then I started bringing the truth out as I learned to I found people inside that I could trust. But don't ever forget that you never have to give up your true identity. And that's where my philosophy came from, that lies, you can always lie to your enemy. And sometimes you just don't have to say anything, but you always want to misdirect your enemies, keep them away from you. What I did caused a lot of confusion. They kept them confused on who I was. And even when I went to prison, a lot of people inside had no idea who I was. They didn't even know if I was that guy that they met in county jail, which is exactly what I wanted, because who knows what was going to roll over from county jail. They might have pissed somebody off or something like that. And while we're on, here's another good funny story I'm gonna tell. I like to always give you something funny. When I got moved to Wyoming, and I was in Wyoming, Sheridan County Jail, Cowboy Town. So I'm sitting in my cell, I'm bored, and all of the other guys, when I tear, they're bored. They're like I said, you get to come out, it's probably about 5 of us on the cell block. And one of the guys, he hands me some chew, some red man chew. He says, hey man, because I was a candy freak. I had a sweet tooth and I didn't have any money. I couldn't get any candy or anything. So all of them, they didn't eat candy. They smoked cigarettes, drank coffee and did chew. And so one, I was like, you want some dip? He tried to bring a little dip thing. I was like, nah, I don't like that. I know what that is. And then the other one said, well, yeah, you're a real chewer, Jermaine? You're a real cowboy. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you out there real chew like this. And he showed it to me. And I seen it look like a little bubblegum bag. So I'm like, oh, that look like Big League Chew. He said, yeah, it's Big League Chew. So he's kidding around and laughing. So I said, well, can I have some? I said, what's it taste like? He said, well, it's kind of sweet. They put a syrup in it, but it'll get you a little high, especially if you've never had it before. So I said, well, hell yeah, man. So he gives me, so I dig my hand in there and get a whole bunch of it. I'm chewing it, and they call us a lockdown in my cells. I go in my cell, I'm sitting there, and I'm just zinging, buzzing, because this first time I had, nicotine in my body. So it was like I had smoked a joint or something. So I'm sitting there, and we're all talking at night in our cells. The block is quiet, and this cowboy finally says to me, hey, Jermaine. I said, yeah, what's up? He said, did you eat that? Or you spit it out? I said, no, I'm still chewing it. He said, well, you've been talking at the at your bars for the past like 15 minutes. I said, yeah, it was why? He said, where are you spitting it at? I said, I'm not done chewing it. He said, no, where are you spitting the spit at? I said, I'm swallowing it. And he said, you need to get to your toilet now. Right when he said that, I puked all this black puke out all over the tier, ran to the toilet. I'm just puking my guts out right now. Because it's red, man, you're not supposed to swallow it, especially when you're a beginner. So that was just a funny story. Of course, everybody got to laugh at that. And I just thought that was something I definitely want to share with you guys and loosen this up. But remember that through the stories of Uncaged, I got tons of them, some exciting things. But there's some lessons I learned in there under these conditions and under this pressure that you can't learn out here. And these are powerful life lessons that I use the ideology from to help me become and help me straighten my life out, empower my life, and empower other people's lives. So that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is to start telling you guys these stories, because I had so many enlightening moments, so many breakthroughs of things that would happen there. And this is a breakthrough for me, because I never liked lying. My mother hated liars. She always told me she hated lies. She drilled it in my head like crazy. So I came up not lying. And that's why I had a lot of people against me. I had problems with authority, police, because I wouldn't lie to them. They could never get me to back down. I was always going to stand on the truth. But at this moment, something told me that this was a time for me to use the power of the lie to protect myself and my family. And that's what I did.